Far from obscurity stands the #1 player in the world, Steffi Graf. The fans and media have somehow struck a chord of suspicion in Steffi's mind, relentlessly demanding her attention. Sometimes the more she gives, the more it backfires. Is this the price of fame in the 90s? Then what about Graf's father, Peter, who nurtured her skills to championship caliber? He, too, has plagued her career with his alleged crimes and admitted misdeeds. Even her greatest rival has been scarred, permanently and literally, by the fanaticism that Graf herself has tried to avoid. Namely, the horror in Hamburg. During a quarterfinal match against Magdalena Maleva, Celis was attacked by a fan of Steffi Graf.
Stabbed in the back by a spectator.
He was a fan of another tennis player. Not expected to play tennis again for at least.
Celis was out of tennis for 27 months and 10 majors as a result of the stabbing. And the aftermath of the act has been more confining for Monica and Steffi than for the assailant, Gunter Parsch, who was twice tried but never jailed.
Steffi and Monica are forever intertwined. Monica was stabbed in Steffi's name. You know, everyone always talks about how hard it must have been for Monica. How hard was it for Steffi?
Yeah, I remember it extremely well because I was in the hotel room and somebody called me and said, what happened? And for some reason, I had that feeling that, you know, it could be more to it. And then when they told me later on that probably was a fan of mine, I felt terrible. And then the next morning we went to see her.
What was that meeting like? I mean, seeing her for the first time, knowing what had happened.
I talked to the doctor and I wanted to know how bad it was right away, and I felt a little relief, but when I saw her and she was lying in the bed, you know, looking out the window, and I felt terrible, very, very, I mean, you can't put it in words. It is, I mean, we both, I mean, I said sorry, and I felt sorry, I said sorry, and it's difficult to say what you can say at this moment, but, you know, I think at that moment I felt the closest I've ever been to her.
Perhaps tennis's most popular mystery is Steffi Graf. A top-shelf player since the mid-'80s, she's been critiqued, reviewed, and photographed endlessly, but it's rare that we've actually heard from her directly.
What can you say about yourself that people don't really know, or what would you like to say to people to know you better?
Oh God, that's difficult. I mean, it always starts to get difficult to have to talk about myself. Mm-hmm. That's something that I have a lot of trouble with.
I noticed.
But the thing is, I'm so novel that there's not that really much special about it. I mean, I do my clothing, or I do my laundry, or do whatever. I think I'm a pretty regular, normal person.
Really?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's funny, because Renee Stubbs, a good friend of yours, you know, saying the same. Like, Steffi has to sit in the front seat. She doesn't have to do this. She doesn't have to do that. When she's not playing a tournament, she's just like
everybody else.
Everyone else.
I've known her for now for about 8 years. I just think she's a very shy person to begin with. So, I mean, I think in general people that are shy don't tend to mix with a lot of people. In actual fact, she likes to get out and do things. She likes to go to the mall, as I said, or she likes to go to the zoo or the aquarium or things like that. She always wants to get out and do things.
Stephanie Maria Graf grew up in the small West German town of Brühl, along with her younger brother, Michael. Their parents, Peter and Heidi Graf, already shared a love for tennis, and it didn't take long for their interest to rub off on their little girl.
Let's go back. When was the first time that you played tennis? I mean, what are your earliest memories of playing tennis?
Probably about, I don't know, when I was 4.5, 5 years old or something like that. I think I played my first tournament in Munich when I was 6 years old. Barely hold a racket, probably.
So very pleasant memories you have, yes, of getting involved and the reasons why you wanted to get involved with tennis.
Yeah, but obviously as a kid you have a different perspective. I mean, it's not your goal to become #1 or anything like that. I mean, it's just you play, because my father and my mother were both playing a lot of tennis. So it's obviously, you know, you always try to do a little bit what your parents do, and I think that's how I started up too and enjoy it.
Steffi loved the game so much that she trained several hours a day, and by age 10 was working out with the national team. At 12, she became Europe's 18 and under champion.
Well, you were winning tournaments well beyond your age division at an early age. Is that why you turned pro?
There was nothing else to do.
Now Steffi would face the world's best in the sport she loved most.
Okay, so let's go to 1982. You're 13 years old. It's the first major tournament.
Austin was #4 in the world.
Tracy Austin.
I was sitting there and I was like, oh no. I was just disappointed because I just wanted to have the chance to play somebody else, but somebody great right in the first match.
She wins in straight sets, and she says after the match, oh, there are 100 of them back home in the States. Like just saying, oh, no big deal. You're just going to be a flash in the pan. Do you remember that statement? Do you remember how you felt when you...
Sure. Yeah. Sure you do.
Steffi played 11 tournaments in her first year as a pro. Her opponents were far older, her fans a shade younger. Almost immediately, she was a celebrity and accepted the sacrifices that came with her success.
When you were going through all that, did you ever think, I miss school, I miss home, what am I doing, why am I out here? Did you have any regrets?
I miss school. I miss school a lot. I miss learning. I miss that a lot. So I tried to take my books with me, but still it wasn't the same.
La camisa.
I obviously grew up a lot faster than others at that age, but I think I learned a lot by doing it. I could do things that others were really dreaming about. And then I remember in school, and I was gone for a couple of weeks for tournaments, and everybody was so jealous because they say, why can't she be out of school that much, and why can't we? And actually at the end it was pretty funny because the teachers always wanted to know, what have I done, how did you do, and that usually took up a couple of minutes of the hour. So they were like, come on, just keep on going, tell him something, because they just said, okay, another 10 minutes gone from our school time.
As an 8th grader, Steffi left school altogether. The young athlete from Brule was about to become a major international star.